Okay, we can start with that. Let's do this thing. We're gonna do this thing a little bit different, okay? So first and foremost, this segment, this video, this live stream is sponsored by BetUS, so big shout out to them. Link below in the description box. So what we'll do is I'll give you my overall thoughts about this acquisition, right? And I'll just tell you what I think of them, what I think this means for the Spurs, just my initial thoughts, right? This is my reactionary take. It just happened. This is just how I feel about it. And then afterwards, I'll look at the chat and we'll go over some of you guys' comments. So we'll divide it into two. I think that's the best way we can do it. We can divide it into two. All right. So first and foremost, yes, it is true. The San Antonio Spurs have grabbed your boy Malachi Flynn. And he is well known actually from last season because he put up 50 points in one of his games in April, I believe. So he's definitely a spark plug type player. Now, as far as the details of the deal, I don't think, and we'll take a look, like I said, I'll take a look at the chat when we get there, but I don't think there's any details right now other than the fact that it's a 1-year deal and it is a Exhibit 10 contract. So it's not guaranteed, at least from what my understanding is. Okay, if there's some updated information, I will get it live. Okay, but first and foremost, that's what it is. It's not some crazy deal. He's 26 years old. A lot of people are, at least the initial reactions is that, oh, this is a good pickup. This was a very smart move from the Spurs, and Spurs make continuously smart moves. Now, as how I feel about this is I try to keep things in perspective. I don't think that Malachi Flynn makes us that much better, honestly. I know that a lot of people wanted a shooter, they wanted a scorer. He's a decent passer. He's more of a spark plug, microwave type player. Defensively, he's pretty decent, right? But he's not going to lock you down, okay? At this size of 6'1", he's not going to lock anyone down. But this past season, he did average at least a steal per game. Well, 0.8. I thought it was one steal. But yeah, 0.8 steals per game last season. So he is a hustler. He plays hard, and I think that he'll fit right in. And keeping things in perspective, I see him as a upgrade to Devontae Graham. That's what I'm excited about. That's how I'm trying to think about it, because I do think that he's a better player overall than Devontae Graham. Even though Devontae Graham was fine, I do think that he's a better player. Now, as far as his percentages from three, I did see some initial reactions saying, oh yeah, man, oh he's lights out from three. Not necessarily. We can see here his last two seasons, in which it was 31% and 30.8%. But that could be the situation he was in. As you can see with the Knicks, it was only 4.4 minutes. And he only played 14 games. And then this past season, it was only 24 games. But when you can see that he's in a role that's a little bit more comfortable and he gets more playing time and he gets more games under his belt, he does pretty decent. So with Toronto, 35% during. Oh well, actually, I'm so dumb. Yeah, he did get traded around that one season, right? Yeah, so when he was with Toronto, his last two seasons with Toronto, he did pretty good. So when he had 31 games under his belt, 35 3-point percentage, and then the season before that, prior to that, 53 games played, 35.3%, and 33% ain't that great. I won't get too excited about that, but as far as 3-point shooting, not too shabby there. So he's just been passed around. That's the main thing. But defensive wise, he's decent. He plays really hard. He plays tough. So I do like him as a player, and I do think that he will fit in fine. I know some people have had the speculation of whether or not this means he is gone, and by he I mean Blake Wesley. Does this mean that Blake Wesley is no longer going to be here? I don't necessarily think that that'll be the case, right? I don't think that Malachi Flynn is taking anyone's spot right now, but he is something that we do need. We do need, more scoring, and but hey, it puts a little bit of heat, under some of the players that we have. I've been very adamant about this. I'm not 100% sure how Blake Wesley will fit future-wise for the Spurs. I do like him. I think that he is a fine player, but when it's all said and done, his play style, I'm not 100% sure. Also with Malachi Branham, it's the same thing, right? Like I could very well see Malachi being moved off, going somewhere else, especially if he'll eventually be some type of point guard or maybe a combo guard, but we can't really utilize him in that role right now, especially when you have Trey Jones already and now getting Malachi Flynn. So I don't know what this means for the Spurs players, but we're gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. All right, so there I can see the chat moving like crazy. It's all over the place. So I'm gonna take a look at what you guys have to say. But before we do, big shout out to today's sponsor, BetUS.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
All right, guys, so please use the link in my description if you want to check out BetUS. You will receive a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Really great stuff, but link below underneath in the description box. All right, let's take a look at what some of the chat members here has to say. Let's see. Actually, we'll have a little visual, right? We'll have a little visual while I talk to you guys. Let's see here. Some Flynn clips. He's a point guard. That is true. So Chris Paul is already traded. What? What? I don't know. Pistons waived him. That should tell you something. Oh, so you guys aren't excited. It looks like the chat isn't that excited about this. Either he won't get a lot of time or we're cutting ties with someone. That's a really good point too. He is very talented, but here's the thing, man. He's 26 years old. Not to say that's not old or anything, but as far as if he was very exceptionally talented, then 26-year-old is whatever. But the fact that he's 26 and a lot of the guys on our team are much younger, I just don't really see this as a watch out for your job type pickup, you know? I see this as a really good replacement for Devontae Graham, and then we just kind of see what happens. But he does have a lot of potential there. Like that game here, I actually didn't go to it. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. This game, absolutely insane. So it was against the Atlanta Hawks. They still lost. But 18 for 25, 72%. So this is the type player, he's the microwave. 72% from the field, 55.6% from 3. He's capable of doing this. And with 50 points, nine of them came from the free throw line. Only 9. So just on the court, he put up 41 points. That's really impressive. Very impressive. So I wouldn't be... It can go either way. You know, it can go either way. But me right now, I'm not going to just be bought on the idea that anyone on our team is... You know, it's trouble for you. You know, I think it was just a solid pickup and a good Devontae Graham trade, or not trade, but you know, replacement. That's how I see it right now, and we'll just see what happens. Off the bench too, yeah, very impressive, very impressive. And by the way, I've said this before, I'm not connected to anyone on our team. Like I'm not holding on real tight to anyone's name that isn't Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell, or Wemby, right? Like I'm not. I'm totally cool with, you know, anyone being replaced. That's how much confidence I have in Wemby, by the way. When is the Clan podcast coming? I really need to do that. I need to convert everything to audio. That would be cool. Don't worry. When it does come, I'll announce it. Hey, Clan, thanks for always doing such a great job. Or you said good job. I am conceited. I'm sorry. You didn't say great job. You said good job. I am a narcissist. Been trying to reach you. Let us know how to send you info. Go Spurs go. Been trying to reach me? Just go to my description box in the on my YouTube channel. Or actually, you can just email me. Email me at clanthespursfan@gmail.com. Yeah, just email me. That'd be better. let's see here. Devontae has more of a strap. He has more playmaking, even though those stats are light, but he'll be riding the Pine Pony. Honestly, I personally think that this is upgrade. I personally think Malachi Flynn is better than Devontae Graham. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I can't sit back and say, you know, anything else. I think his defense is a little bit better as well. We need a solid 4 and bring in a wing for Paul and Barnes. Start Sohan with Fasel and let Castle play point. And if it doesn't work, you still have Honed and can put Castle at the wing. I think you're overthinking it a little bit. We still got to see what this team. I think, okay, so here's one. The Biscuit Buddy says, I think Blake Wesley has a problem of improving his overall game. When he works on one thing, the others diminish. He can't put it all together at once. Well, keep in mind that Blake Wesley, the main narrative during this last draft, was that he is, or when he was in the draft, I'm sorry, was that he is, he's raw. He's raw talent, right? So it's a lot that he still has to put together. But I will say his defense is what's kept him in the game. And I think that's what will continue to get him minutes. The defense is really good. He's not a lockdown or nothing like that, but his defense is really good. I don't think he'll ever be a great playmaker. All right. I just don't. You know, he really needs to just focus in on, he's already stupidly athletic. If he can just focus in on being a really great defender, defining a new role, 3-point shooting definitely needs work. Okay. 3-point shooting, everything else will kind of come together. As long as his 3-point shooting is there and he continues to play good defense, everything else will come together. He's a guy like that, a guy like Blake Wesley being a threat from 3 is very dangerous. He has to finish around the rim a little bit better too, but it's very dangerous because you want people to overcommit to you, and right now they just kind of leave him out there, you know, because his 3-point shooting just isn't good. I'm a huge fan of Sohan, to be honest. Me too. Seems like a winning move in the sense that we are either gearing up for a trade, Okoro, or want a veteran presence over a young guy. Yeah, either way, it's a smart move. Don't think too much of it. I'm only taking this as face value and with the idea that the Spurs want this guy to play and be on the team. And if that's the case, I don't think that anybody's, you know, future is in jeopardy unless he just really tears it up. I just see him as a adequate and good off the bench player, replacing Devontae Graham. That's all I see him as. I'm not trying to think too hard about it, but it could result in, you know, a trade. Sure. I think we're set. Yeah, it's starting to look more and more like that. So, but yeah, cool. So it seems like we're all pretty on page on it. That it's not that crazy, right? It's not that crazy. If Pop sends Castle to the G League and plays Flint, Pop is not sending Castle to the G League. That would be insane. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. But anyways, big shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Link below in the description box, guys. When you support the sponsors, you support the channel. So I really do appreciate all the love.